from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Most High come forth.
Right? It says, suddenly shall the wrath of the Most High come forth. Right? So you're not going to have time when you see that sky crack open, or we getting beamed up to go back into the wilderness. We're not going to have that time to say, oh, I'm going to get right now. I repent. No, it's too late. Right? It's too late for that. The Most High told you to get right already. Come on, what you got? 60? 119 and 60? Yeah, let's look at that. Psalms 119 and verse 60. All right, let's look at that real quick. All right.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 60. I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments.
Oh, read that again. That was a good one.
I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments.
I made haste. What does that mean? I did it quickly. I ran towards it. Right? I made haste. Read it again.
I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments.
So you don't delay to keep the commandments of the Most High. Right? You don't put that off day to day. Right? If you fail, failing is one thing, right? Let's say you striving to keep the law. You fall short of the law. Okay. I repent. I got to get back on that horse. Let's keep moving forward. Right? The scriptures tell us what? That a just man falleth 7 times. But the wicked stay within his mischief. Right? It's only the wicked that's going to stay after he falls that 7th time. That 8th time, he's going to be like, you know what? I can't keep the commandments. Right? I keep trying and I fail. No, you got to keep trying, man. Right? Because think about it. A lot of us in this room are first generation Israelites. Right? This is not something that we were programmed from children. Our children should be better at keeping the commandments than us, because we were indoctrinated with wickedness, a lot of us. Right? We are the ones who grew up celebrating Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving and Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's, all of these wicked holidays, New Year's Eve. Right? We are the ones who are subject to those things, and it takes some time to get that out of your spirit. All right? A lot of these people, when you see older people in the street and they don't want to let go of that John 3:16 doctrine, you got to think they've been going to church for 30 years. That's sown within their spirit. Sometimes just as long as it takes to get in, it might take that long to get out. All right? That's why we got to make sure we're pounding this word, right? Delivering this word unto the children of Israel. It don't matter if they want to hear it or forbear it. If they want to listen or if they don't want to listen, you let what they want to do. But we know that we are the children of the Most High, and we're going to preach the laws of God. All right, so read that one more time.
The book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 60. I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments.
All right, I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments. So jump back to Sirach chapter 5 and verse 7 and read that one more time.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 7. Make no tarrying to turn to the Most High,
right?
And put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Most High come forth,
right?
And in thy security thou shalt be destroyed.
Right. So when you thinking you're secure, when you thinking you got everything together, right? It says you're gonna be destroyed. Right? You thinking you're good. You thinking you're good today. Oh, I keep going off, but I'm good. I got next week. I got next month. Right? You never know. You got to get right today. Today is that new day for you. Right? Keep reading.
And perish in the day of vengeance.
And you're gonna perish in the day of vengeance. Nobody here wants to perish. We want to keep living. We want to see our seeds live, right? And like I keep saying, it's not just about us. It's about our children and our children's children. This is how much you should love your seeds, your children, your generation, your family, right? You have a big, you have, what's the word I'm looking for? A responsibility. You have a very big responsibility for your children and the generations to come. We are the ones that's breaking those generational curses. Everybody understand that? Right? We are the ones that's breaking that generational curse right now. So we have to make sure that we are setting the proper example for the ones that are coming after us. Because if we don't, nobody else is going to do it. And we know the world is going to continue getting wicked. All right? Come on.
You might want to read verse 1.
It's all right?
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Let's do that.
All right. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 1. Set not thy heart upon thy goods.
Right.
And say not, I have enough for my life.
All right, so it doesn't matter if you making $20 an hour, $30 an hour. Don't say I got enough, right? You might have just bought a house and bought a mansion. I got enough for my life. I got enough food in my refrigerator, right? My brother and my sister starving, but I'm good, right? Keep reading.
Follow not thine own mind and thy strength, to walk in the ways of thy heart.
Right.
And say not, who shall control me for my works?
Right.
For the Most High will surely revenge thy pride.
Right. So when you in the darkness, when the Bible is closed, right? A lot of people say, "Oh, nobody's seen me. I got away with that." No, the Most High is always watching. Right. It could have been you by yourself. You could have been in that dark room by yourself, going off, right? Thinking nobody there, but the Most High watching. Right? Read on.
Say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me?
Right. So don't say I sinned and I got away with it. Right? We should never be in that mindset. If you sin, you better repent immediately. You better hit your fast, get on those knees and pray. Bow down before the Most High. Right? Seek the Most High with a contrite and broken spirit. Right? What you got, brother? You said one verse? Yeah, sure. Deuteronomy 28 and 48. All right. We'll go to that. Let us read this first. Hold Deuteronomy 28, 48. We'll read it after this one. You reading?
For the Most High is long suffering. He will in no wise let thee go.
Right. He's not going to let you go. He's not going to forget about that. Right. You're boasting pridefully. What is the Most High going to do to me? I sinned. Yep. I did it 100 times. I got away with it. You shouldn't say that, man, because the Most High going to cut you down. Read on.
Concerning propitiation, be not without fear to add sin unto sin.
So don't add sin unto sin. Don't keep saying, don't say, okay, I fell short of the law that one time, nothing happened. I might as well do it again. Right? We don't want to add that sin unto sin. The Most High is recording it. Right? Because that goes back to Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Sentence against it. Right? So yeah, hold that. Jump to Ecclesiastes 8 and 11.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8 and verse 11. Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Right. So because you don't get judged, we don't get judged immediately for our actions anymore. Right. We're not in the land of Jerusalem or Israel where people used to get stoned immediately for going off. Right. So now you have time or grace, and people think, oh, I could do whatever I want to do. I'm getting away with it. I'm not dead yet. Right. I've been smoking 10 years. I'm still not dead. But when you read Psalms chapter 91, what does it tell you? Right? It tells you that the wicked shall be cut off. Right? Immediately. It says they're going to flourish, and then boom, you just cut off just like that. All right? So keep reading on that.
Though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear the Most High.
Right. So if we're looking at sinners and they live in a long time, what do you think is going to happen to us? Right? What do you think is going to happen? If they live in a long time, they know about the laws of the Most High. They're continuously going off. Right? If they going off and they're living a long time, what do you think is going to happen to us when we're striving to be righteous men and women?
Right.
Right? The Most High is not a liar to us. The Most High always keeps his promise. He has to keep the covenant between the children of Israel and himself. All right. So drop that. Go back to Sirach.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 6. And say not, his mercy is great, but he will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation resteth upon sinners.
What is indignation? What does that mean? Righteous judgment, a righteous anger. Right? Righteously, you're mad for a right cause. Right? It says his indignation rested upon sinners, right? What is the wages of sin? Right? So that's his indignation. He's going to bring that death towards you. He will send those angels, right? What you got?
Yeah, just to point out, at the top of verse 6, it's talking about how people say, the Most High's mercy is great. People try to use grace and mercy as an excuse.
Exactly.
What they want to do, but the Bible clearly says, he's going to pour his indignation out on people.
That's a good point, right? Because who does that sound like? That sounds like a lot of Christian people.
Right.
Right? When you tell them, they might know, it's in the Bible that you shouldn't eat pork. But what do they say? I got grace. I serve a merciful God. Right? I serve a God that is forgiving. Because Christ died for us to sin. Christ died so you could smoke crack, right? And be a prostitute on the street. Right? That's madness, man. What you got?
This is Romans chapter 6 and verse 1.
Let them get it first. Come on, right? So we're going over why we shouldn't be tarrying against the Most High, because we never know in our last days on this earth. We never know when the Most High is going to call us home. All right. So when you're playing around with this truth, man, that's a very deadly thing that you're doing. Right? That's a very deadly thing that you're doing. The Most High has called you. He woke you up. He gave you the opportunity to serve him with truth and sincerity. Right? Because he doesn't call everybody. Not everybody belongs to the Most High. Right? We understand when we read the scriptures that God does not love everybody. We got to tell it straight up like it is. God does not love everybody, because if he did, he wouldn't be coming back to slay millions of people. He wouldn't be sending his angels back to slay millions of people. Look how many people that went against the children of Israel that he killed. Did God love them? No. All right. So we always have to keep that in mind. So read what you got.
It's the book of Romans chapter 6 and verse 1. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound?
Read that again.
What shall we say then?
What shall we say then? Read on.
Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound?
Can I eat my pork? Right? Can I do my drugs? Can I be on the street late nights slanging? Can I do all these things? Read on.
God forbid.
It says God forbid. No, you cannot do that. Just because you have grace does not mean you can sin. All right? It's proper understanding of the scriptures that we must have. That grace is a period for us to allow us to repent for our sins. Because back in the day, you used to do one thing and you gone. All right? One mistake and you're gone. Look at what the Most High did to Moses. After everything Moses did, he messed up one time. So that showed you that the Most High didn't have that mercy back then. All right? He didn't have that. He didn't have, oh, you can do this and you can do that. No, he was very strict. You go off that one time, you finish. All right? After everything Moses did, Moses pleaded for the children of Israel not to be destroyed. And look what happened to Moses. All right? This morning.
A little bit. How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein?
Right. So we, us being the children of Israel, we know we have to keep the law. Right? We know that we have to keep the law. When we understand what sin is, when we understand what the law is, right? Scriptures tell us when we keep the commandments, we do what? We come alive. Meaning what? We used to be dead. We were zombies. We were the walking dead. When you go out on the street and you see those people walking back and forth, like they don't even see us. It'll be a group of 40 and 50 brothers out there with long garments on in the hot sun, and they walk past you like they don't even see you. All right? That's the walking dead. Their ears can't hear, their eyes can't see. And we're right in front of them with the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. All right? So jump back to Sirach.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 6.
Yeah, start at 6.
And say not, his mercy is great, but he will be pacified for the multitude of my sins.
Right.
For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation resteth upon sinners.
All right.
Make no tarrying to turn to the Most High.
All right, so this is very important. Don't make an excuse. Don't make an excuse. Oh, I can't get off the Sabbath, or I can't do this, I can't do that. No, everything is possible. When you try to serve the Most High is going to make it possible for you. Right? You might not be able to see the other side of that. All right, but the Most High will make it possible to serve the law, to serve him with the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, read on.
And put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Most High come forth.
Right.
And in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance.
Right. So we don't want to perish in the day of vengeance. When those angels come back, when Yahushua comes back, we don't want to be perished with these other people. We want to be we want to be beamed up and go back into the wilderness. Right. We want to be beamed up out of here because we've been stuck here for too long, man. All right. We've been stuck here. We've been going through hell. We've been catching hell with these other nations. Right? They're oppressing us. They're killing us. They're doing all type of madness to us. How long are we going to keep doing that? Right? Keep the law, statutes, and commandments so we could get out of here, man. All right? So drop that. Go to James chapter 4 and verse 7.
This is the book of James, chapter 4 and verse 7.
Right.
Submit yourselves, therefore, to the Most High.
Right. You got to submit yourself to the Most High. Right. Don't submit yourself to this world. Don't submit yourself to the devil. Submit to the Most High. Right. Read on. Yeah, come 4 and 7.
Oh, okay. And he will, submit yourselves, therefore, to the Most High. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you.
So it's just that simple. Resist the devil, man. Because the devil's going to come with that temptation. It doesn't matter if you're in this truth for 5 years. It don't matter if you're 10 years, 20 years, 40 years. The devil will come and tempt you. But you just have to resist. All right? I think he tempts the most, from personal experience, I think he tempts the most when you first come into the truth. But he's definitely there while you're in the truth. Right? He's definitely going to be there, here and there. Boom, boom, boom. Right? Resist the devil and he shall flee. Keep reading.
Draw nigh to the Most High, and he will draw nigh to you.
So you got to draw close to the Most High. How do we draw nigh to the close? How do we draw close to the Most High? Through His Word. Keeping your head in this book. All right, read on.
Cleanse your hands, ye sinners,
right,
and purify your hearts, ye double-minded.
And you can't be double-minded in this truth, right? You can't be double-minded. It's either you're gonna keep the law, statutes, and commandments, or you're gonna break them. Which one you want to do? Right? We got to keep all the laws, not some of them. Not some of them. Don't think because you got fringes on the bottom of your shirt, you're an Israelite. I know a lot of people that think because they don't eat pork, they're an Israelite. That's not true. Right? You got to show up at the high holy days. You got to show up to the new moons, the Sabbaths, the Passovers, right? You got to treat your brother and your sister with love and respect, right? You got to be out here doing the will of the Heavenly Father for you to be considered an Israelite, a Jew, God's chosen people, right? Just because you got a head wrap on, or you got the shield of David on, or whatever the case might be, you thinking you are Israelite. That's not true. We are Israelites by our actions, not outwardly, but inwardly. We are Israelites. We are Jews. All right, read on.
Be afflicted and mourn, and weep.
Right.
Let your laughter be turned to mourning,
right,
and your joy to heaviness.
Right.
Humble yourselves in the sight of the Most High, and He shall lift you up.
So we gotta humble ourselves. Right. We gotta mourn when in that time. Right. Day of Atonement. That's the time we should be mourning. Mourning for what? That the Most High has separated Himself from us. He has hid Himself from the children of Israel that we can't see. All right. So we got to be in mourning for the other Israelites that have died unjustly in this country. We should be crying and mourning for the slavery and the turmoil that we have went through by our oppressors. Right. Read on.
Verse 11. Speak not evil one of another. Brethren, he that speaketh evil of his brother and judgeth his brother speaketh evil of the law.
Right. So you don't want to go against the law, statutes, and commandments. You don't want to speak evil of your brother or your sister. Right? I tell brothers and sisters all the time, if you have an issue with somebody, you got to address that. You have to stomp that spirit out, because it's only going to get larger, and then guess what's going to happen? It's going to explode in everybody's face, right? And we don't want that issue, right? Exactly. We don't want that issue. The quicker you stomp that issue out, the easier it is to deal with. The longer you let it sit there and linger and cook, it's going to be harder to deal with later down the road, right? Now you got so much tension, you can't even talk with each other. Address that issue. If you got an issue with your brother, pull him to the side. If you got an issue with your sister, pull them to the side. And if they won't hear you, you get somebody in the church, the elders, the captains, whoever, and let them judge the issue. Right? Keep reading.
He that speaketh evil of his brother and judges his brother speaketh evil of the law and judges the law.
Right.
But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law,
right,
but a judge.
Right. You're just a judge. You're not a doer of the law. You just judging people. All right. Read on.
There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy.
There's only one lawgiver that is able to save and destroy. Who is that? The Most High. Right. Read on.
Who art thou that judgest another? Go to now. Ye that say today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year and buy and sell and get gain.
Right. So this is the verse I want everybody to pay attention to. Right. Read verse 13 again.
Verse 13. Go to now. ye that say, today or tomorrow we will go into such a city and continue there a year,
right?
And buy and sell and get gain.
Right. So you're planning on going into this city to buy and sell and get gain, right? You say tomorrow this is going to happen, right? Keep reading.
Whereas ye know not what shall be on the morrow.
So we don't know what's coming the next day. Yeah, we can make plans. We can write down our action plans and things like that. It's nothing wrong with that. But we have to make sure that we always have that in our mind saying, look, we don't know what's coming tomorrow, right? We don't know what's coming tomorrow. So we can't boastfully say, yeah, I'm going to do this. This is why you hear a lot of people say, Lord willing, right? I'll see you next Shabbat, Lord willing. If it is the Lord's will for me to do that, I will see you. If it is not, it is not. All right, read on.
For what is your life?
What is your life? Read on.
It is even a vapor that appeareth for a little time,
right,
and then vanisheth away.
Right, so we have to understand that, right? When our life disappears off this earth, that's nothing, right? That is nothing. Just as easy as the Most High has given it, He can take it away. And we want to be mindful of what's in front of us. Keep the Most High on your mind at all times. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments on your mind at all times. And I know we all have our distractions. We have to go to school, right? We have to go to work. We got bills. We got family members and friends that we have to take care of and tend to. But make sure you're setting that time to the side for the Most High, because it is the Most High who protects you in this wicked world. It is the Most High who sees that you get through to the next day. And we don't want to boastfully rejoice. Matter of fact, keep reading.
Verse 15. For that ye ought to say, if the Most High will, we shall live.
Right.
And do this or that.
So you see what I'm saying? So we got to say, if the Most High will, Lord willing. If it is for me to do that, Lord willing, I will do it. Right? We got to keep that in mind. Keep reading.
But now ye rejoice in your boasting. All such rejoicing is evil.
All such rejoicing is evil. What does that mean? Right? You're rejoicing for the next day, saying, yeah, I'm gonna do this tomorrow. You thinking you have control over that. We have no control over that. We don't have control over what comes to us the next day. Can we plan for it? Can we properly write down our goals and things like that? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But make sure that we keep in our mind that the Most High can end us at any time. Right? And that goes back to keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, not tarrying to turn unto the Most High, because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Right? Keep reading.
Therefore, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not,
right,
to him it is sin.
To him that it is sin. If you know you're supposed to be doing good and you going off, it's sin. And what's the wages of sin?
Yeah.
Let's look at that. Matter of fact, hold that. I want to get the young brother precept first. Give me Deuteronomy 28:48. We'll jump to that next. All right. And it's good that you call them precepts. I mean, even it doesn't matter how young you are. It doesn't matter if you're a child. It doesn't matter if you're 10, 13, 15. You should be reading your Bible. Right? You should be reading your Bible. You sitting there looking at TikTok videos and YouTube and playing Fortnite all day. Yeah, I said it. playing games all day, that's not good for you. All right? We want to make sure that we taking time. There's nothing wrong with playing games here or there, or going on YouTube and browsing the internet or looking at TV. There's nothing wrong with those things. But make sure you keep your head in the Bible, because you don't want to be confused. This whole world is built on confusion right now. Right? You got grown men who don't even know that if they're a man or not. They say, I don't know if I'm a man. I think I'm a girl that was placed in a man body. Right? That is confusion. That's wickedness according to the Most High. That's what you call being double-minded. Right? The Most High is not the author of confusion. That's the devil. Right? So we want to make sure that we understand there's right and there's wrong. Right? There's good, there's bad. There's righteousness, there's evil. Right? So stay in this truth. Keep your head in the law, right? So read that.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Most High shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst,
right,
and in nakedness,
right,
and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck,
right,
until he have destroyed thee.
Until you have destroyed thee. So two things, right? One of them being, that's why we should be apt to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, because we know that we are serving our enemy and the hunger and thirst and in nakedness. Everything that we want, we have to ask our enemy for. When you look at the tag on the back of your clothes, we don't make that. When you look at all the water in that refrigerator, we don't own that. We don't own the lakes, right? We don't own the springs and things like that. Zephyr Hills, Aquafina, Dasani, all of these water companies, we don't own that. They own the major resources, the land, right? And then another thing, it talks about putting that yoke of iron on the neck. What does that mean? He will put a yoke of iron on thy neck until he have destroyed thee. What does that mean?
You take the yoke off, you're still destroyed.
You're still destroyed, right? So that's exactly, so when you look at the movie Kuta Kinte, right? Said, your name is Toby. They beat him until he did that, right? They beat him, and then they didn't have to beat him anymore, right? Well, except for when he ran away. But the point is, when they take that yoke of iron off your neck, you're destroyed. They don't have to control you anymore. You're controlling yourself by their measures, right?
It's like taming a horse. Like they usually they tie him to a tree or something.
Right.
Like you can tie him to a chair.
Right.
And the horse still won't run away.
Right. Exactly.
Pull the chair.
Right.
You know, he's already.
Right. That's how they do dog. That's how they do dog training, right?
That's how the captain brought up how they do elephants. They put a chain.
Exactly.
When they're small, they put a rope on it when they're big, and they still won't.
And they think it's a chain.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how we've been programmed, right? We destroy ourselves now. They don't have to do any work. We just doing it in the street. When you go to the hoods and the sticks, man, these people are destroying themselves. All right. We've been in some bad, we've seen some crazy things. And I think people don't understand what's really going on in our neighborhoods. It's really wickedness and evilness going on in our neighborhoods. That's why it's very important that we change that. We are the ones that have to change that. They're not going to be able to do that by themselves. And the pastor from those Sunday churches is not going in those hoods and telling those people that. They're not going over there to tell them that. So we got to be the ones that do that. Right? Whether they hate us or not, it's for their good. It's like when a father whoops his child. You know, you might be mad at your father, but it's for your own good. You mad that you're getting a whooping, but it's for your own good. All right? He say later on, you're going to thank me for that. All right. So drop that. Get Sirach 19:24. Yeah, good precept, brother. All right, if you guys got precepts, bring them out. Let's read them. Let's read them.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 24.
He
that hath small understanding,
right,
and feareth the Most High is better than one that hath much wisdom, right, and transgresseth the law of the Most High.
Right. So even if you have small understanding, read that again.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse 24. He that hath small understanding,
right,
and feareth the Most High.
So you have small understanding, but you fear the Most High. You know the Most High is real, but you might not understand all the law, statutes, and commandments just yet. Right? You might not know everything that's there. Right? Keep reading.
Is better.
Read on.
Than one that hath much wisdom.
You got all the wisdom. You got all the breakdowns. You know how to break down the Daniel's book. You know how to break down Revelations. It doesn't matter how good you can break down this Bible or these precepts. Right? Read on.
And transgresseth the law of the Most High.
So one that feared the Most High with small understanding is better than one with much wisdom. Right? That's a powerful scripture right there. Right? So we know we gotta fear the Most High. It doesn't matter if you'll understand it. If you know the Most High is real, you know you're not supposed to be doing something, don't do it. The best way not to do something is don't put yourself in that position. All right. If you know you got a problem with candy, you don't go into the candy store and look at the candy. Right. You're gonna buy the candy. Right? You know what I mean? You don't do that. Right? Right. It's there everywhere. Right? You got to put those things what the horses wear, right? The blinders. Right? Just keep looking, just walk forward and walk straight. Keep going, man. Walk the narrow path. All right? All right, good precept. So jump to Sirach chapter 14. And start at verse 14, I believe. Let me see. Hold on one second. Start at verse 11.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 14 and verse 11. My son, according to thy ability, do good to thyself.
Right.
And give the Most High his due offering.
Right. So what does that mean? Do good to thyself. Take care of yourself. Right. Don't defraud yourself of the things you need. Take care of yourself. Do good. Read on.
And give the Most High his due offering. Remember,
and give the Most High his due offering. What is that? Right. You building up his sanctuary. Right. You are celebrating the high holy days. You sending up the Passover. All of these things are his due offering. The Most High required that of us. All right, read on.
Remember that death will not be long in coming.
So we got to remember that day is coming one day. Right? Everybody know that. Read on.
And that the covenant of the grave is not showed unto thee.
Right? So we don't know when, we don't know where, we don't know how. But we know one day we all have to exit this earth. Right? Read on.
Do good unto thy friend before thou die.
Right? That's a big one. Do good to thy friend before thou die. Right? Having a friend in this truth. Make sure we're being good to each other. Make sure we're being merciful, forgiving to each other, not hating one another, loving on each other. Right? Because a lot of times people wait until people die to express that love to people. Right? And we shouldn't do that. That's not good. We want to show love to each other while we're here and breathing, living on this earth. Right? Love on your brother, love on your sister. Yeah.
It's only when there's death that everybody gathers.
Exactly. Right. Right.
While we live, everybody scatters.
Right. That's a good example. Right. So, for example, when the funeral that we just went to for a good friend of ours, right, you know, neighborhoods that we grew up in and things like that, we haven't seen each other in, I say, 10, 15 years, and we all have very close bonds. Right. We haven't seen each other, but this is the only time where brothers coming together and we loving on each other. We shouldn't wait for these opportunities to come or these misfortunes to happen for us to come together and, you know, celebrate each other, man. Love on each other. These things are a very big deal. Loving on each other is a very big deal, especially amongst the children of Israel. Everybody else already hate us. If we hating on each other, you just giving that more, like, we can't add fuel to the fire. Everybody else already hates us. We have to love one another, right? The Chinese man already hates you. The Asians hate you. Japanese, these people, Africans, they hate you. So what do we look like hating on one another? I don't like this, but I don't like how he talked to me the other day. Yeah. Squash that and move forward, man. Love your brother, love your sister. All right. All throughout the scripture is telling you love thy brother. Psalms 133. Right? How good and how pleasant is it for thy brother and sisters to dwell together in unity? That's a good thing, a good feeling. Right? Read on.
Do good unto thy friend before thou die. And according to thy ability, stretch out thy hand and give to him.
Right.
Defraud not thyself of the good day.
Hold on, let's go back to verse 13. This is a very big one, right? Read that 13 again.
Verse 13. Do good unto thy friend before thou die. And according to thy ability, stretch out thy hand and give to him.
So what does that mean? According to thy ability. Right? What does that mean?
Do what you can for your brother when you're able to do it.
Do what you can when you're able to do it. If you got a brother that's down and out, you got to understand, these Jewish people understand scriptures. This is why it's very rare that you find a poor Jewish man. Right. Because they hold each other up. Huh? You probably going, all right. You know what I mean? But when we see the problem, our mindset is when we see each other, oh, nah, that ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't nothing to do with me. I'm just here. You feel me? I got my lights on, right? You know, that's how we think. Seriously, right? My lights on. I got food in the refrigerator, but your brother's starving. How can we call ourselves a family? How can we call ourselves God's chosen children if we're not looking out for another? Right. Exactly. Exactly. The girl we asked the girl about Breonna Taylor on the street. She says, what does that have to do with her? Right? And that could have easily been her. Right. And we would have been on the street talking about her name.
Right.
And she don't even understand that. If that was her, we would have been in the street the same way, you know, sending out this name. Yo, you got to get rid of them cops, man. All right? But our people have an individual-like mindset. We don't think of each other as a whole. Malcolm X said something very great back in the day. He said, once my people understand that we are a collective and a whole, he said, then we're going to rise. Right? He was talking some truth. He was serving the wrong God, but he was talking some truth. He said, when we look at each other and we know that we are one people, we are the same people, one family, then we're going to rise. But that time isn't come yet because we still thinking we individuals. All right, so keep reading. You had a question?
No, I don't.
Okay. Oh, yeah. What precept you got?
1 Peter 1:22.
Come on, let's look at that. 1 Peter 1:22. Come on, let's look at that. Come on, 1 Peter 1:22.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 1, and verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing you have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren, see that ye love one another with a pure heart fervently.
Fervently, with a like a hot love, like it gotta be warm, right? You gotta love your brother, love your sister. All throughout the scripture is talking about loving, man. Loving your brother, loving your family. All right, read that one more time.
This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 1, and verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing ye have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren,
right?
See that ye love one another with a pure heart fervently.
Right? So it's seeing that we have been purified by obeying the truth. By obeying the truth tells you to love your brother. Right? So when we go out and teach, they say, oh, I don't need no Bible. Are you sure? Because we're not loving on one another. Right? We walk past each other. We don't say shalom. We don't say, hey, what's going on, brother? How you doing today? Right? We just think we individuals. Right? Right, exactly. They do the head nod and they keep it moving. Right? But we can't be like that. We gotta make sure we looking out for another. Come. I'm on that next one. Don't bring that. I got you next. I had that. That's a good precept. So jump back to Ecclesiastes.
That was verse 14.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 14 and verse 14.
Right.
Defraud not thyself of the good day, and let not the part of a good desire overpass thee.
Right. So let's say, we understand that tomorrow is not guaranteed. And there's a balance with this. Because you have some people say, oh, I don't know what tomorrow brings. I'm going to go out and blow my whole savings. Right. That's not how we should be living. Right. But there's a balance. Like they say, you need something, you want something, you work hard for your money, go get it. Right. Go get it, buy it. You want to drink some good wine? Drink the good wine. Right? You know what I mean? Drink the good wine. Right? Because we don't know what tomorrow brings. Like I said, there's a balance to it. We don't want to be foolish with that mindset. Right? But you don't want to defraud yourself. Oh, you're trying to save on clothes. You buying clothes with holes in. You don't want to do that.
That's the last time we was talking about, don't forget about the storehouse.
Right, exactly.
Now, whatever you do, make sure you take to the storehouse. When the nation needs, they can go back to the storehouse.
Absolutely, because the sanctuary is supposed to be what's holding us up, right? The sanctuary is what holds the people, right? When you go back and see how the churches used to operate, the tabernacle and all these things, why they were giving offerings and tithes, that was for the poor people. Somebody falling short, and we all have those periods in life where we have our ups and downs. That's supposed to be a time to say, look, man, my light's about to go off, my child needs food, whatever the case might be. You should be able to go to that church and say, look, man, I need like 200. I got you. I'll pay it back next week or a month from now, whatever the case might be. Right? This is all our money that we putting together. This is what that's made for. All right? Everybody got to understand that. This is what holds not only the sanctuary up, keep the lights on, but it's what keeps everybody else up in the sanctuary. All right? But that was a good point. So keep reading on that.
Verse 15. Shalt thou not leave thy travails unto another, and thy labors to be divided by lot?
Right. So you hear that? Shouldn't we leave our burdens to another person? Shouldn't that burden go to our children? When we dead and gone, aren't they going to inherit bills? Right? They're going to inherit the same bills. They might have to work them 40 and 50 hours a week, just like us. Right? It's a shame, but it's true. So right. So you don't want to defraud yourself because we don't know what tomorrow brings. Keep reading.
Give and take and sanctify thy soul, for there is no seeking of dainties in the grave.
Right.
All flesh waxeth old, as a garment.
Right? All flesh. We know we got to get old one day. Read on.
For the covenant from the beginning is, thou shalt die to death.
A covenant is a promise, meaning we have to do that death. Right? That's promised to all flesh. Read on.
As of the green leaves on a thick tree, some fall and some grow.
Some fall, some grow. Read on.
So is the generation of flesh and blood. One cometh to an end and another is born.
Right? So that's why we have children. Right? And this is why it's so important for us to pass our legacies, our laws, what we taught our children, so they could teach it to their children. Right? Our great grandchildren should be talking about us. Right? Well, I heard from my great grandfather Korash, right? He was telling us that we got to keep the commandments. He told us that we are the children of Israel. He told me how I should raise my children. He told me how I should carry myself as a lady, as a young man. Right? So these values go down the line. Right? Keep reading.
Every work rotteth and consumeth away, and the worker thereof shall go withal. Blessed is the man that doth meditate good things in wisdom, and that reasoneth of holy things by his understanding.
Right. So we want to make sure that we keep our mind on wisdom, on the law, statutes, and commandments. How do we apply what we learn? How do we apply the law, statutes, and commandments? Everything that you learn in here on the Sabbath day, you should be applying outside this door. All right? Whether it be with anger, whether it be with something you're struggling with, whatever the case might be. And I tell y'all all the time, if y'all have an issue, call me. Call me. All right? I might be at work, but I promise you, I will return your call. If you got an issue, we are here to hold each other up. And it should be like that with everybody in here. All right? If you need me, I got you. If you need whatever she needs, she should be able to call her sister, whatever the case might be. We are a network, a family that's going to hold each other up. Right? Is there more on that? That's it on that. You could drop that. So let's get the last one. Ecclesiastes 9. Time is 2:24. We might have to jump in the portion after this one. All right. Let's see what that says. Ecclesiastes. Yeah. Start at 9 and verse. Let's start at verse 7.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9 and verse 7.
All right.
Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink thy wine with a merry heart.
Right.
For the Most High now accepted thy works.
Right.
Let thy garments be always white.
What does that mean? Let thy garments always be white. Be pure. Keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Don't go off, man. Right. Read on.
And let thy head lack no ointment.
Right.
Live joyfully with the wife whom thou lovest all the days of the life of thy vanity.
Right.
Which he has given thee under the sun. All the days of thy vanity. For that is thy portion in this life.
Right.
And in thy labor which thou takest under the sun.
Right. So one of the points that I'm trying to bring out is that enjoy what the Most High has given you. The Most High gives you these things for a reason. Right. So enjoy that. And don't take it for granted. Don't take your wife or your husband for granted. Don't take your children for granted. Don't take your parents for granted. Your aunts, your uncles, your nephews, your nieces. Don't take the people that are in your life for granted. All right? Read on.
Verse 10. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might.
Now that's a big one, right? That's a big one because we don't know what tomorrow brings. We don't know if the Most High is going to call us home tomorrow, right? Read that again.
Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might.
What does that mean? Do it with thy might. Right? Do it the best you can. Be all that you can be. Right? Anything you put your hand to, you do it with all your might. That's how we exemplify us as being a great Israelite. Right? If you're going to be in this Bible, do it with all your might. If you're going to be an Israelite, a Jew, God's chosen people, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, do it with all your might. If you're going in the street, in the highways and byways, do it with all your might. Right? A lot of times we like to slack off with certain things we got going on, but we shouldn't do that. Being leaders, we are leaders of this world. Everybody understand that? We are meant to be kings, gods, princesses, and things like that. We are made to be the leaders of this world. And being leaders, we got to make sure we're doing everything with all of our might. We got to be the best at what we do. Right? Read on.
Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. For there is no work, nor device, nor knowledge, nor wisdom in the grave whither thou goest.
Right. So if you mop floors at Burger King, right? Be the best floor mopper there is, like my father tells me, right? If you scrub the walls on the bathroom, be the best wall scrubber there is. I've never seen a wall scrubber like that. That's how we gotta be. That's the mindset we gotta have with whatever we take on in our lives, because we don't know what tomorrow brings. All right, read on.
I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, neither yet bread to the wise, nor yet riches to men of understanding, nor yet favor to men of skill, but time and chance happeneth to them all.
But time and chance happeneth to them all, right? So what does that mean? Right? They all gotta die. They all gotta die. That time is gonna come one day, right? So we want to make sure while the life is in our body, right, and we're able to walk, live, breathe, talk, speak, we got to speak the oracles of the Most High. We got to talk love to our brothers and our sisters. We got to deal righteously with each other, right? We got to make sure we're doing everything with all our might, because that time will come one day, all right? So make sure you don't tarry to the Most High. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Don't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out of this truth. If you got an issue, deal with it now, all right? Like Priest Gahan say, how does the Most High speak to men and women, right? He always sends somebody to go talk to them, right? So that might be a call. If you got an issue, deal with that now and get it out of your spirit. Purge that out of your spirit, right? You got an issue dealing with something, stay away from it. That's simple, and the devil will flee, right? All right, so we're gonna jump into the portion. I know I was gonna go over new moon, but it's getting late, and I don't want to keep everybody till night. And the portion is pretty long. Before we move on, I just want to ask. I know Yuckanah and General Yuckanah went over the portion last week. I just want to ask. So what are some of the things y'all learned last week? I know he was questioning y'all. I know he was giving y'all pop quizzes. What are some of the things y'all learned from the General?
Malachi means messenger.
Malachi means messenger. Come.
And Luke was a position.
Luke Khan, right? Absolutely, Khan. All right. What else?
You know, what you was just talking about, he went over the Luke 4:28. That one kind of hit good for me.
Okay, Khan. What is that? Captivity. Payment subject.
The mind going straight from God, so being returned, seeking 10 times more.
Khan. There you go. Khan. Right. Exactly. We gotta make sure we seek the Most High 10 times more. When we were in the church, you know what I'm saying? You were clapping your hands to the music. You gotta clap your hands 10 times harder when you come to the sanctuary, the light of Zion. All right. All right. What else did we learn? I know you guys went over a report. You guys went over Deuteronomy last week, right? Was it Deuteronomy, the last chapter?
Yeah.
So what you said you went over Deuteronomy, right? So what was Moses talking about in that chapter? Pull out your notes if you got to. See, we gotta review these things. We don't want to just come in here and read it and then forget about it, 6-7 days later. So the reason we go over these things is to retain the knowledge. So what were some of the things Moses was giving his farewell speech? Kind. That's a big one. Remember the days of old, right? Because a lot of people are so quick to forget what happened to us. They think because they give us housing now that you're allowed to go to college, right? They give you a decent paying job with a white picket fence. They think, oh, everything is over, right? Everybody's equal now. But the scriptures tell you, Moses told us, remember the days of old. Remember our forefathers, right? Remember our forefathers, the law, statutes, and commandments they received. Remember the slavery, the oppression that we received, right? All right, a couple of other things. What else did we learn? I know Moses, he was giving his farewell speech when he was about to die. Before the children of Israel went back into that land, he was kind of giving his farewell speech. He prophesied something will happen to the children of Israel. What did he prophesy to them?
Oh, it was Deuteronomy 5:1. He was talking about old Israel. Instead of the hero Israel, the statute and judgment which I speak to your ears, they learn and keep it in memory.
Kind, hallelujah, right? Hallelujah. That was one of Moses' main points of leading the children of Israel. Right? He was that messenger that was sent from the Most High, to give them the law, statutes, and commandments. Right? He's the one that went up into that mountain and he had to deal with the Most High. All right. What you got, brother? You said what? Bitter herbs? And bitter what? Perish? The Passover? Okay, Khan. Yeah, the bitter herb. Khan. Right. You guys went over Passover last week? Khan. Oh, have you been to Passover? Have anybody been to Passover yet? Have y'all done Passover? Yeah, you did. Listen, that thing will travel in the back of your brain and go down your spine. I don't know what that is, but
someone gave him a big thing of horse radish to eat with his dad. And how it was, like you said, brain numb.
That thing traveled down your spine. It's in the middle of your. I don't know what that is, but it's something that grabs the middle of your brain, right? Open you up, right? Yeah, right. Now, but listen, that's a good experience. Like people don't understand. They don't know about that. When we talk about that, we can laugh about that now, but they don't know about it, especially your first time. You won't forget the first time you took horseradish. You will never forget that feeling. I'm telling you. All right. Brothers want to feed people big pieces too. Yeah. Con, they set you up, sis. Con. Yeah, but no, that's good. I know Yuck and I went over the Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy, if you don't remember what it is, just go back over. It's one chapter. That was more of his farewell speech. That was more of his farewell speech before he died, and he prophesied a couple of things unto the children of Israel. He prophesied the evil that will happen because he knew Israel was going to go off, right? You know, he talked about all of those things. So if you don't remember, make sure you read them, right? Throughout the week, just make sure you're picking up even if it's one verse, open up your Bible and read a verse, all right? Read one verse. This will keep you sharp. It'll keep you in the Bible because that's how a lot of people let that spirit slip. You don't want to let that spirit start dying like that spirit that the Most High is giving you. You start, next thing you know, you fall to the back, you're sitting all the way in the back, and the next thing you out the door, right? I'm calling, I'm looking for you, you know where to be found. I don't believe in the truth no more, brother. Right?
Brother, I was at work, and the brother, I was talking about the Bible, and he wanted to read, because he was going through something, his kid was sick with us. Yeah. And he said he usually read Isaiah 53, 3-5.
That's talking about Christ.
I gotta bring that back to him if I go to work.
That's talking about Christ, I believe.
But he was asking, you got the Bible, and I was like, yeah. He's like, let me read it real quick. And he flipped over to that verse, and
is he sure that was fit? Is he sure that was supposed to be it?
Actually, he wanted to read out of the book, so I let him read it real quick. But I wanted to
read that Isaiah 53:3.
This is a book, Isaiah 53:3?
Yeah.
This is a book of Isaiah, chapter 53 and verse 3. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid as it were our faces from him. Mm-hmm. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Yeah. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of the Most High, and afflicted. All right. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed.
Maybe that's what he's talking about. We are the stripes, we are healed. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what he's relaying that to. But this whole chapter is talking about Christ and what he had to go through for the children of Israel. When it talks about us being healed for those stripes, that's talking about us coming out of that state, that we're in that lowest state, mm-hmm. us being healed as the children of Israel.
So when I go after him, say, if I said Sunday, what precept would I bring to him to help him, get him to understand it? Because when I showed him my Bible, he was like, I ain't never seen a Bible that break it down like that. I was thinking to show him the precepts. Right. So what would I bring his attention to pull him closer to understanding?
To show him that is Christ that is talking about? Mm-hmm. You gotta read that whole chapter, and then you could just simply get Acts 5 and 29. Right. Acts 5 and 29. All right. That's definitely talking about Christ, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna break it down to it. Like I said, when you see my Bible, he's like, I ain't never seen about that.
Yeah.
Down like that.
Yeah, because it talks about how And the Lord hath laid upon him it says in verse 6, it says, and the Lord hath laid upon him the iniquity of us all. Right? And in Acts chapter 5, it tells you that Christ died for the children of Israel. Right? He died for us. He's the one that he took on our sins. It literally says he died for our sins. Sin is another word for iniquity. Right? So we know that this whole chapter is talking about Christ. Isaiah 53. Come on. All right. So let's jump into the portion. We starting at Genesis 1:1. This is very good. All right. It's a lot of information that comes from these chapters. It's a lot that you can go into. I know a lot of people misconstrue or, they misunderstand what Genesis is talking about. They become vegans and things like that, but we'll try to get proper understanding today.
But how do people read that Genesis and then they see about the firmament, but they still think the earth is round?
I don't know. It's really, we have elders who in the truth who believe the world is round. I've seen some very, elders that would be deemed as, very knowledgeable in this truth that believe the earth is round. But I tell people that has it doesn't have weight. It's right. It's not weight. You know what I mean? Like the whole point of us is what? To serve the Most High, keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You knowing the earth is flat versus it's round will not get you into the kingdom of heaven. That's just more wisdom for you that you can apply to certain things when you converse or have a conversation with somebody, but that doesn't bear any real weight.
We just brought the scripture out talking about somebody that has little wisdom, but they keep the commandments.
Right.
Somebody that has little wisdom, so it's not really salvation. We gotta stay keeping the commandments.
Right. Fine. All right, so let's jump into Genesis 1:1. I think we're going to Genesis chapter 6 and verse 9, I believe. Yeah, it's a long portion, so we'll get through that.
All right, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 1 and verse 1.
In the word evening, that means night. It's dark, right? It means the night when that light is going away and it's that darkness, right? So it says evening and the morning were the first day. Read on.
And the Most High said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters.
Right, so let there be a firmament in the midst. What is a firmament? Right? It's like a dome. It's a dome, right? Contrary to popular belief, they told us that we live on one big ball and the gravity holds us in and we could go. It doesn't matter how far we want to go. We could just keep going into space. But there's something that blocks that, right? The firmament, right? Read on.
Verse 7. And the Most High made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so.
All right. So the scriptures say that there is water above the firmament, all right? And scriptures say there is a water beneath. All right. Read on.
And the Most High called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day.
So now it's going into that next day. It says the evening and the morning were the next day. So we know that what? The day starts when the evening comes in. It starts from that darkness. Evening means night in the Hebrew, right? So it says the evening and the morning were the first day. Read on.
And the Most High said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so.
Right. So it says now you're talking about the ocean, the sea. It's in one place, and then you got the land in one place now. Right. Read on.
And the Most High called the dry land earth. And the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And the Most High saw that it was good.
And he saw that it was good. Right. Read on.
And the Most High said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind.
Right.
Whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so.
Right.
And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind.
Right.
And the Most High saw that it was good.
Right. So when we look at what the Most High has created, when we're talking about the herbs, the fruit tree, it says it's yielding things of its kind. How is it doing that? By seed. Right. So everything the Most High created has to have a seed. So we know that the world we live in today, you pick up an apple or you pick up an orange, it doesn't have anything in there, right? So we know whatever is there, that the Most High didn't create this, right? When you start talking about GMOs and the food, we know that the scriptures tell us that we shall eat defiled bread among the heathen. That's exactly what that's talking about. We eat unclean things. This is why so many of us we don't live as long as we used to, right? The food is defiled, the water is defiled, the air is defiled. That's why you got to pull Esau out of that seat, man. Because whoever is controlling this earth right now he's wicked, right? For you to say let's make an orange without seeds, for what? Why are you doing that? Let's make an apple or a mango without a seed, or a banana without a seed. Why are you doing that? It's just so he can control the resources, right? What you got?
I'm not the most wise person in the world right now. When it comes to water, from my understanding, you should be drinking spring water.
That's a good story. Go ahead.
When they purify it, they take all minerals and all the good stuff out of it.
All right. That's a good point. I wanted to bring that up too. So, for everybody, when you bring water, I'm not getting on anybody. I appreciate everybody bringing water, but when you bring water, make sure it's spring water. I'm gonna send everybody a video. I'm gonna put a video in the chat. I don't want to go too much into science, but when you look at water, your water and pH balance has to be the same, right? You have a pH balance in your body. Science says, when you look into the science of things, right? When you drink anything that's below that pH of your body, you're telling your body that you're in a state to get sick. So you either want to keep your body at the neutral level or higher. That's why you see those waters, when they have a pH level of 8 and 9, those waters are like $3 and $4. But spring water is like, it's neutral or a little bit higher, which is alkaline. So when you bring water, try to bring spring water for everybody, because that purified water and distilled water is below the pH level, and it makes you sick, right? Exactly. So we might think for example, we might look at the air, but it could be something poisonous in the air, like carbon monoxide and things like that, right? Just because it's air, H2O and things like that, it might look the same, but it's not the same. Alkaline water is good for you. Alkaline water is good. When you study that whole chart, you have alkaline, then you have bases, which are acids, right? So alkaline is supposed to be good for your body. It tells your body, it helps your body, fight off viruses and bacteria and things like that when they come into your body. So that's just a good point. I'll post that video in the chat a little bit later today, but they did a whole video about the water and the breakdown of what type of water we should be drinking, and yeah, we try to. It does. You could taste that hard taste. You could taste the minerals in the water. You could taste like Dasani and Aquafina. They have like a chemical taste to it, all right? And Aquafina, I think it's Aquafina. It'll tell you on the back of the bottle that this water is recycled water. It's recycled. Why are we drinking recycled water? All right. Spring water is good. All right. Yeah, but that was a good point. That was a good point that you brought that up. Yeah, so let's try to bring spring water if we do bring water for the congregation. So keep reading that.
Verse 14. And the Most High said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night.
All right.
And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
So what does that mean? Let there be lights. The stars, all of these things. He said, let there be lights in the firmament, right? And they shall be for signs, for seasons. All right, read on.
Verse 15. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so.
Right.
And the Most High made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night.
Now, what is that he's talking about? Sun and the moon. Right? Sun and the moon. Right? Read on.
He also made the stars. He made the stars also. And the Most High set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth.
Right.
And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And the Most High saw that it was good.
Right.
And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And the Most High said, let the waters bring forth abundantly moving creature that hath life.
So what did he do on the fourth day? What did he do on the fourth day? Read verse 18 again.
Verse 18.
So
and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness.
Right.
And the Most High saw that it was good.
Right.
Verse 19. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day.
Now we're going into the fourth day, right? The fourth day. Read on.
And the Most High said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life. And fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament above heaven.
Right. So what did the Most High do on the fourth day? We just read it. You said it's day and night? I'll read it again. 19.
Verse 19, and the evening and the morning were the fourth day.
Uh-huh.
And the Most High said, let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life.
So this is the fourth day. He said, let me bring forth the moving creature that hath life. All right, read on.
And fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of God of heaven.
Uh-huh.
And the Most High created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And the Most High saw that it was good.
Right.
And the Most High blessed him, saying, waters in the seas, and the Most High blessed him, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth.
Right.
And the evening and the morning were the fifth day.
Now we're going into the fifth day. Right. Let's see what he did in the fifth day. All right.
And the Most High said, let the earth bring forth living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so.
Right.
And the Most High made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And the Most High saw that it was good. And the Most High said, let us make man in our image, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth,
right,
and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth.
Right. So what day did you say what? You sure? You sure? Read verse 23.
Verse 23. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day.
Right.
And the Most High said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so.
Right.
And the Most High made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And the Most High saw that it was good.
All right. So he created beasts, every creeping thing. Read on.
And the Most High said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness.
So now we're in the fifth day. All right. So let us make man in our image. Read on.
And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So the Most High created man in his own image. In the image of the Most High created he him. Male and female created he them. And the Most High blessed them. And the Most High said unto them, be fruitful and multiply.
So what is the first thing the Most High told men? Be fruitful and multiply. That's the first thing that the Most High told men. All right, read on.
And replenish the earth.
Right.
And subdue it. And have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
So what does it mean when it says have dominion? You are over there. You have dominion over the animals that I place on earth. Right? You have that power, authority over them. Read on.
Verse 29. And the Most High said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of tree yielding seed.
Right.
To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life.
Right.
I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so.
All right. So everything on the earth at this time was eating the herbs, eating the fruit. All right. Read on.
And the Most High saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day.
Now we're going into the sixth day.
Right. Chapter 2. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day, the Most High ended his work which he had made.
Right.
And he rested on the seventh day
from
all his work which he had made. And the Most High blessed the seventh day and sanctified it.
Right. So what did he do on the sixth day? We just read it. Read verse 31. You said what? Hold on one second.
Verse 31. And the Most High saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good.
Hold on, you might be right, sis. 1 second. Salaki, hold on 1 second. Khan, you're right. You're right. Salaki, I apologize for that. Khan. Right, so that was the 6th day, Salaki. Okay, so man was created on the 6th day, right? 5th day was what?
The birds and the sea animals.
Khan.
And the 4th day is the sun.
Khan. Okay, so you named the days after you. Okay, gotcha. Okay, you're right. Sorry about that, sis. All right, read verse 3.
Verse 3. And the Most High blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which the Most High created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth where they were created, in the day that the Most High power made the earth and the heavens.
Right.
And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Most High power had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground.
Right. Before we move on, right, when you talk about the days that the Most High created heaven and earth and all of these things that he created, how long is that to man? 1,000 years. Everybody understand that, right? So let's get the proof. Give me 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8.
This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8. But beloved, be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Most High as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day.
So you see that? A day for us to the Most High is 1,000 years, right? It's 1,000 years. So we got to understand, to us, how the Most High sees over a time period of 1,000 years. First day, 1,000 years to us. Second day is 1,000 years to us, right? So we're talking 6,000 to 7,000 years. Everything was created, right? So it wasn't just something. Oh, I created this in one day to a minute. No, that's not true, right? All right, so jump back to where you were.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 2 and verse 6. But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And the Most High power formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Most High power planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Most High power to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight, and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
Right.
And the river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads.
Right. So does everybody understand that there was more people than just Adam and Eve that was created? Right. Everybody understand that, right? Because I know a lot of people, they try to trip you up with that. Right. When they really understand the Bible, they'll understand that people started coming from different places that the most. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get Ezekiel chapter
37.
I think it's 31. 31 and 9. Right.
Adam and Eve and brother and sister and stuff like that. But those people already there.
Hold on 1 second. Start at verse 6.
31 and 6. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 31 and verse 6. All the fowls of heaven made their nests in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwelt all great nations.
Now this is talking about a man. It says under his shadow dwelt a lot of great nations. Read on.
Thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters.
Right, keep reading.
The cedars in the garden of the Most High could not hide him.
Mm-hmm.
The fir trees were not like his boughs,
right?
And the chestnut trees were not like his branches.
Mm-hmm.
Nor any tree in the garden of the Most High was like unto him in his beauty.
Right, so it's comparing Adam to a tree, right? So these trees are representing people. It says there was more people, but it was not like unto Adam what he created, right? Read on.
Verse 9, I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that were in the garden of the Most High envied him.
How does a tree envy another tree? All right. This is talking about people. The other people were envious of Adam, right? Because what? The Most High gave him life. He gave him that breath. What is that breath? The law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
Right? He gave him that. He was the first one that received it. So when we read on further, when it was talking about matter, I don't want to jump too far, right? But we know that Adam created a sin. How did you sin if there was nothing that the Most High gave you? Right? Adam was in transgression when we read further down in that story. So we know that there was more people than just Adam. Adam was just the one that received the life from the Most High. All right? Everybody see that? Everybody understand that? All right. Is it more on that? Yeah, keep reading on that.
Verse 10. Therefore, thus saith the Most High Power, because thou hast lifted up thyself in height, and he has shot up his top among the thick boughs, and his heart is lifted up in his height. I have therefore delivered him into the hand of the mighty one of the heathen. He shall surely deal with him. I have driven him out for his wickedness.
Right. So this is when he got that knowledge from Eve. Right. He was driven out because he sinned. He transgressed against the laws of the Most High. Most High told both of them, don't do something, and they did it anyway. Everybody else, it goes right back to the truth. Everybody else never received what Adam received. All right. So let's jump back. All right. So we know that the Most High gave the laws to Adam. That life that he put in Adam was laws, the commandments, the statutes. All right. And we're going to read further down that Adam had created a sin for himself.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 8. And the Most High Power planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Most High Power to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, that the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison. That is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of the land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. And the Most High Power took the man and put him into the garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And the Most High Power commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden thou mayest freely eat, but out of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof thou shalt surely die.
All right.
And the Most High Power said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him an helpmeet for him. And out of the ground the Most High Power formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air.
Right. So when we go back to verse 17, when it starts talking about that tree of knowledge of good and evil, what did we just read that the trees were? It was people. So Eve received some knowledge from somebody else. That's all it was, right? That's all it was. She received knowledge from another person. Somebody had knowledge of good and evil. They had knowledge of these things. She went, she got whatever happened. She received that information and she took it right back to Adam. All right, read on.
And brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof.
All right.
And Adam gave names to all cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found an helpmeet for him. And the Most High Power caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam.
Right.
And he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and close up the flesh instead thereof.
All right.
And the rib which the Most High Power had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man.
All right.
Therefore his wife, and they shall be one flesh.
Mm-hmm.
And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed.
Right.
Chapter 3. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Most High Power had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath the Most High said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? Right. And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, the Most High hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Right.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. Salakia. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, right. For the Most High doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
Read verse 5 again. So why did Eve take that? Why did she take that information? All right. What you got?
Well, she can lie to trick instead of say for the devil know that since Adam was God's first made,
right.
He went to the weaker, which is the one.
He did.
And he did that instead of going to Adam, because Adam probably told him no.
Right. But there's something that we gotta pay attention to. What you guys say?
I don't know, there's a precept that states the woman is a weaker vessel.
Yeah, kind. Let's see that. It's in Ephesians. I think it's Ephesians. Let me hold on one second. Is that Ephesians?
It makes it seem like the devil let Eve know that her eyes will be open, that she's blind, that's something that she don't know.
Yeah, but it's something in that verse. I'm gonna show you really quick. I'll show you. We'll hold that precept that you called, but verse 5, read verse 5 again.
This is the book of Genesis chapter 2 and verse 5. No, it's like it. 3 and verse 5. For the Most High does know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil.
So he's promising her something. He said, you shall be as a god, right? So I want you to think about this, right? Adam was already given dominion over everything. You understand that? Adam was already given dominion. So he went to Eve not only because she was a weaker vessel, but he promised her that she shall be as a god, that she shall have dominion as well. He promised her that what is a god? A god is somebody that has what? Power and authority. So he promised her that she can be a god as well. So read on.
Verse 6. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons.
So we know that this serpent went to Eve not only because she was subtle, like she was that weaker vessel, she was easily to be duped, right? She's that weaker vessel of Adam, right? But he promised her that she shall be as a god as Adam was. Adam already had dominion over things. Why would Adam need to take that the good or evil, the tree of good? He wouldn't need to take that. He's already a god, right? So keep reading.
Verse 8. And they heard the voice of the Most High Power walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Most High Power amongst the trees of the garden. And the Most High Power called unto Adam and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself.
So what does it mean when he says I was naked? He was in sin. Give me Job 31. Job, I think it's 31. 33. All right.
This is the book of Job, chapter 31 and verse 33. If I cover my transgressions as Adam,
right,
by hiding mine iniquity in my bosom.
So this is Job talking. Job had good understanding of it. Job was a just man, a perfect man. Obviously, he knew scriptures, right? He says, as if I covered my transgressions as Adam. So we know that Adam was in sin. And we know that sin is what? Transgression of the law. Right? So Adam already received the commandments from the Most High. He knew that he did something that he knew he wasn't supposed to do. Right? So jump back.
Verse 11. And he said, who told thee that thou was naked?
Right.
Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat?
Right.
And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat.
Right.
And the Most High Power said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat.
The serpent tricked me, and I ate it. He told me I'll be a god, and I ate that thing. Right? Read on.
And the Most High Power said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above all beasts, above every beast of the field. Upon the belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow.
Stop right there. Go back to verse 15, right?
Verse 15.
Yeah, read that again. I will put what?
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman.
So this is why relationships between men and women sometimes are so difficult, right? This is a curse that was given by the Most High. He said, I will put enmity between you and the woman, right? Read on.
And between thy seed and her seed.
Right.
It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Right, keep reading.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception.
Right, what does that mean? I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. And birth. That's why birth is so painful for women.
But in 15, was he not talking about the serpent, or was he literally talking about man?
No, it's talking to the man. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman. Right? Salakia, whoa, I'm tripping. This is the serpent.
So was he talking about the children hating snakes? Or one of the, you know what I'm saying, views?
Give me, hold on, yeah, read verse 14 again, Salakia.
Verse 14. And the Most High Power said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go,
right,
and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Right.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman.
Okay, so this is the serpent. Salakia about that, y'all.
So that serpent meaning the devil or man as
whoever gave her that knowledge.
Yeah, it's a man.
Whoever gave her that knowledge. It doesn't say what nation of people or what people gave her that, or whatever that was that gave her that knowledge. It says, I will put enmity between you and that person. Right? So read on.
And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
Right.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception.
Right.
In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children.
Right.
And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
He shall rule over thee. This is why men has dominion over the woman as the wife, right? Read on.
And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife,
right,
and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake.
Right.
In sorrow shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
Right.
Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field.
Right.
In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread.
So this is a curse unto all mankind, right? It says, in thy sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread. Meaning you're going to have to go out there and get it. You're going to have to work for yours, right? Read on.
Till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
Right.
And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also and to his wife did the Most High Power make coats of skins and clothing.
Right. And
the Most High Power said, behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever.
Right.
Therefore, the Most High Power sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life.
Right. So what did it say? It said he drove out the man. We just read that in Ezekiel. Right, when we talked about the trees of life, say he drove out that man for his transgression, for his wickedness. Right, so that was Adam that was talking about. It was talking about man. All right, so lucky about that, y'all. I mean, I think I'm rushing over this too. That's probably why I'm over here tripping. But come on, go ahead. Chapter 4.
Chapter 4. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Most High. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time it came to pass that Cain brought out of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Most High. And Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and the fat thereof. And the Most High had respect unto Abel and to his offering. But unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell.
So where did Cain and Abel learn to offer to the Most High? Right? They learned that from the Father. They learned that from their family already. Right? So that's how we know that the law, statutes, and commandments, they were already in place. Right? The Most High already told Adam how to offer. He told him how to send up those offerings to the Most High. That's where Cain and Abel got that from. Right? Read on. Right. Read on.
And the Most High said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel his brother. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him.
And so why did Cain slew Abel? He didn't like his offering. Right. He didn't like his offering. The Most High had respect for Abel because of the offering that he sent up. He sent up the fruit. Right. He sent up the fruit of the ground, and he sent up what? Abel sent up what? The fat of the firstlings of his flock. Right. He sent up a better offering. He had respect to the Most High, so the Most High respected him. All right. Keep reading.
Verse 9. And the Most High said unto Cain, where is Abel thy brother? And he said, I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?
He said, do I know? Am I my brother's babysitter? Why are you asking me where he at? Right? Read on.
And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood crieth unto me from the ground. Right. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shalt thou be in the earth.
What is a vagabond? Right? In Creole, they say vagabond. Right. What is that? Somebody homeless. You don't have a home in the earth. You just go to and fro on the earth. A fugitive. Right? Meaning the law, you're at odds with the law. A fugitive, somebody that's on the run. Right? Read on.
Verse 13. And Cain said unto the Most High, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. And I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. Right. And the Most High said unto him, therefore, whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And the Most High set a mark upon Cain, lest any man finding him should kill him. And Cain went out from the presence of the Most High and dwelt in the land of Nod. Salakia.
Verse 15. What was that mark that he put on Cain? He changed his skin. Right? He changed his skin. That's the only mark that's the only mark he could have changed. Right? He put a mark on Cain, knowing that everybody needed to kill him or should slay him. Right? Read on.
Verse 17. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch. And he builded a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son, Enoch. And unto Enoch was born Irad. And Irad begot Mehujael. And Mehujael begot Methuselah. And Methuselah begot Lamech. And Lamech took unto him 2 wives. The name of the one was Ada, and the name of the other Zillah. And Ada bare Jabal. He was the father of such as dwelt in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. And Jubal, he was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Zillah, she also bare Tubal Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. Right. And the sister of Tubal Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said unto his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech. Hearken unto my speech, for I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, truly Lamech 70 and sevenfold. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bare a son, and called his name Seth. For the Most High said she hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, who Cain slew. Right. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enos. Then began men to call upon the name of the Most High. All right, so it just went over the whole lineage of who? It was Cain, and Cain knew his wife. She conceived and bare Enoch. Right. So it went over the whole lineage of Cain. All right. So we'll stop right there. We'll take a break. We'll send up the 9th hour prayer really quick. We'll get some food. Like I said, I know we didn't really get to celebrate the new moon, but we'll kind of merge the Sabbath and the new moon today. And if anybody got any questions about the new moon and that Sabbath on how that works, let me know, and I could touch over some scriptures about that today. I was going to go over that, but we had to go over through the portion. What you got, brother? Do I know Creole? Nah, a little bit. Yeah, so we'll stand up. Yeah, he knows Creole, though. All right. Yeah, so we'll stand up. We'll send up the 9th hour prayer. We'll take a break, and then we'll jump back into it. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 67. Most High be merciful unto us, and bless us, and cause his face to shine upon us, Salah, that thy way may be known upon earth, thy safe health among all nations. Let the people praise thee, O Yahweh. Let all the people praise thee. O let the nations be glad and sing for joy. For thou shalt judge the people righteously, and govern the nations upon earth, Salah. Let the people praise thee, O Yahweh. Let all the people praise thee. Then shall the earth yield her increase, and the Most High, even our power, even our own power, shall bless us. The Most High shall bless us, and all the ends of the earth shall fear him. Bahashem, Hamashiach Yahushai, the Wada, the Yad, Aman. Aman. Hallelujah. 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 Heavenly Father, we thank you for giving us this Sabbath day of peace. We ask that you continue to let us dwell on your Sabbath day as a family, as a nation of Israel, and taking your feast. And we ask that you allow us to congregate and dwell together in sisterhood and brotherhood peacefully. All this we ask in your Son's name, by Hashem, Mashiach Yahushua, the Wada, Yad, Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.